the solution that we have actually built over here, the first objective, as we actually said, is to actually build an intelligent and integrated and an automated multi-operator, multi-tenancy assurance platform, along with the AI and ML capabilities with real-time monetization, as well as looking into specifically the aspects of what upgrade, what recommendations that are actually offered to those end customers. So the architecture fundamentally actually looks like this at a very high level. Firstly, as you actually see, Deutsche Telekom, which is actually the first service provider one, which is actually sitting as a heart into actually offering those end connectivity services to the enterprise customers in this case, which actually offers catalog, charging and billing, the various different products that are actually offered to the end customers and so on, including order management, B2B customer portals and so on. And underneath it, which is actually partnering for the SD-WAN offerings, which is the overlay provider, which is SP2, and the SP3 in fact, and SP2 with the underlay providers, and that's actually a combination of terrestrial providers with the other Catalyst champions with Telecom Egypt, as well as Airbus actually providing satellite connectivity services. What have we actually technically achieved? That's actually fourfold. First is actually an extensive usage of TM Forum APIs, which we'll actually go through in the architecture, between the multiple OSS and BSS components in real time. The second one is actually the intelligent, where we've actually chosen the harmonized usage of the different KPIs on mobile, satellite, as well as the underlay provisions for FTTx and so on for the SD-WAN services to actually provide that whole capability to optimize the underlay network, as well as to actually offer this real-time monetization as well. Third one is the usage of automation and machine learning algorithms and different models at various different stages in this whole chain, right? Whether it's actually looking at the applications and services or the customer care, or to actually offer the different plans to those end customers and so on. The whole of that machine learning models are actually entwined across the whole chain. And lastly, it's actually providing the financial impacts of the service usage and provision of service breaches and upgrades, right? That's exactly where you would be looking at the lifetime value for those customers, as well as to actually look at specifically when you actually offer some of the compensation aspects as well with the real-time monetization aspects. So the use cases that we are actually addressing in this catalyst are threefold, as we actually said. The first one being the usage of proactive performance management algorithms to actually look at the network performance degradation, both on the overlay, on the SD-WAN, as well as the underlay technologies on 4G, 5G, FTTx, and satellite related networks. And when there is actually performance breaches, the one which we have actually built over here is a network, service, and customer topology, which actually kind of brings all of these things together, right? With that end-to-end topology, which allows us to actually do that service impacting capabilities and actually see when the SLAs are actually breached, how do you then actually offer those remediation actions? And lastly, as I said before, when the performance breaches are actually specifically exceeding the limits, in order to actually increase the customer life, the lifetime value, and to actually provide the GenAI recommendations from a real-time monetization perspective, from a billing and charging perspective as well. So that's on the performance management aspects. On the fault, it is actually intelligent prediction of some of the fault in terms of recovery, but ultimately there are two sub-use cases. One is actually creation of the service problem leading to tickets for that end customer, where that end enterprise customer is actually looking at it from a single pane of glass of all of the different proactive faults that are actually identified in correlation with the performance in order to actually offer those remediation. And finally, the customer engagement, where the end customer specifically looks at the single pane of glass, right, from a customer point of view in a customer portal, right, to look at specifically the SLA compensation aspects of it, the recommendations with respect to remediation plans, or even to actually specifically looking at which of those underlay networks are actually impacting where he's not providing, getting the right SLAs that are actually guaranteed to him, ultimately to improve the operational efficiency for the service provider with Deutsche Telekom, as well as the end enterprise customers that are actually getting those services.